Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that the world's supply of advanced computer chips had suddenly stopped. New phones would be delayed, artificial intelligence projects would stall, car factories would reduce production, even the companies building tomorrow's technology would be forced to wait. The remarkable part is that this entire chain depends on one company that most people have never even heard of. Some of the biggest technology companies on Earth compete fiercely with one another. Yet behind the scenes, they quietly rely on the same manufacturing partner. The future of artificial intelligence, smartphones, and advanced computing depends heavily on an island smaller than many countries and a company hidden quietly within it. Inside these buildings, engineers manufacture processors so advanced that only a handful of facilities anywhere. Every wafer carries years of scientific research, extraordinary engineering and manufacturing accuracy measured in billionths of a meter. This is the story of the invisible company quietly powering the modern world, and why its future may shape the future of technology itself.
To understand how one manufacturer became indispensable to the entire technology industry, we have to travel back to a time when Taiwan was still searching for its place in the global economy.
Many countries wanted to build electronics. Taiwan wanted something far more ambitious. It wanted to become the place where the world's most advanced technology would actually be built.
Sides. Instead of competing directly with American or Japanese technology giants, Taiwan quietly chose a completely different strategy.
That company became Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, better known today as TSMC, a business.
Unlike Apple or NVIDIA, TSMC rarely designs the products people recognize. Its job is even more difficult. Some of the biggest names in technology compete relentlessly in the marketplace, yet many of their most advanced processors begin life inside the very same factories. That decision transformed TSMC into something extraordinarily rare, a company trusted by competitors who would never trust one. Back then, nearly every major chip company followed the same rule. If you designed a processor, you also had to build your own factories to manufacture it. That approach made sense, but it created an enormous problem. Companies were forced to master two completely different businesses at the same time.
One team had to imagine the future. Another had to operate some of the most expensive factories ever built. Excelling at both proved incredibly difficult.
Building a cutting-edge semiconductor factory demanded investments so enormous that even successful technology companies struggled to keep pace with rising costs.
Great ideas often waited months before reaching production because design teams and factories constantly competed for the same money, time, and engineering talent. At the time, the idea sounded risky. Why would companies trust someone else to manufacture their most valuable technology?
Instead of competing with its customers, the new company promised something completely different. It would never design processors of its own. It would only build them. That promise changed everything. Suddenly, companies could focus entirely on innovation while leaving the impossible challenge of manufacturing to specialists.
Every new customer made the factories more if it attracted even more customers. The business model quietly became stronger with every chip that left the production line.
As demand grew, TSMC reinvested almost everything into building even better factories, creating a cycle that became increasing. Without realizing it, the entire semiconductor industry had quietly adopted a completely new business model. The world's most advanced factories were no longer simply producing chips. They were becoming the foundation beneath nearly every technological breakthrough that followed. Every year, more industries unknowingly became connected to the same invisible manufacturing network, making its importance greater than almost anyone outside the industry realized.
The idea that once sounded impossible had quietly transformed one manufacturer into the beating heart of the global technology industry.
As the smartphone revolution accelerated, chip design became one of the most important competitive advantages in the technology industry. Consumers noticed better cameras and faster phones. Few realized that the real competition was happening deep inside the processor, hidden beneath the glass. Apple believed controlling its own chip designs would allow it to build products that competitors could not easily match. But designing the chip was only half the challenge. Turning those designs into billions of reliable processors required manufacturing technology operating at the very limits of modern engineering. At these scales, imperfections invisible to the human eye could reduce performance, increase power consumption, or ruin an entire production batch. Reliability mattered just as much as innovation. A brilliant processor meant little if millions of identical chips could not be manufactured consistently. For companies building premium devices, choosing the right manufacturing partner became one of the most important business decisions they would ever make. While others focused on designing the future, TSMC focused on perfecting the impossible task of manufacturing it better than anyone else. As trust in TSMC continued growing, some of the world's most important technology companies increasingly depended on its manufacturing expertise. Every successful device strengthened TSMC's reputation. But smartphones were only the beginning. A far bigger
Just as TSMC mastered smartphone processors, another technological revolution quietly began taking
specs. Artificial intelligence was no longer a research project. It was becoming the next computing demand for processors far beyond.
Companies like NVIDIA designed processors powerful enough to train modern AI models. But designing those chips was only the beginning of an even greater engineering challenge. Every new AI processor demanded extraordinary manufacturing precision. At these microscopic scales, even tiny the world's most powerful AI processors could only become reality if manufacturing technology advanced alongside chip design. Neither could succeed without the other. As artificial intelligence accelerated, TSMC invested heavily in expanding production capacity, knowing demand for advanced chips would continue growing for years. Technology companies raced to secure enough processors for their growing AI ambitions, placing unprecedented pressure on the global semiconductor supply chain.
Training one frontier AI model could require tens of thousands of advanced processors working continuously for weeks, consuming enormous amounts of computing power.
Artificial intelligence had become more than a commercial opportunity. Reliable access to advanced semiconductors was increasingly viewed as a strategic national priority. Suddenly, one quiet manufacturer found itself supporting the ambitions of nearly every major technology company on Earth. Taiwan occupies only a small place on the world map, yet its importance to the global technology industry is far greater than its size would ever suggest.
Every day, thousands of shipments leave Taiwan carrying that will eventually become smartphones, AI servers.
These shipments may look ordinary, but many contain processors that took years to design and months to manufacture with extraordinary precision. Within days, those processors become part of products used by billions of people across nearly every major economy in the world. From cloud computing to artificial intelligence, entire industries now schedule their future around the arrival of advanced semiconductor deliveries.
Modern semiconductors have become as essential to today's economy as electricity, transportation, and communications were to previous generations.
Replacing this manufacturing capacity would not happen in weeks or even months. Building equivalent facilities required. Recognizing this challenge, several countries have begun investing heavily in domestic semiconductor manufacturing. This growing dependence has made semiconductor manufacturing an increasingly important topic in economic planning, technology policy, and long-term industrial strategy. The world is slowly preparing for a future with more chip factories. Yet for now, one company. Designing an advanced processor is extraordinarily difficult. Manufacturing it reliably may be even harder. This is where TSMC built its greatest advantage.
Modern processors contain tens of billions of transistors packed into an area smaller than your hand. Each one must function almost perfectly.
With every new manufacturing generation, engineers fit even more transistors into the same space, improving performance while reducing power consumption. Achieving each new manufacturing milestone requires years of research, extraordinary precision, and investments measured in tens of billions of dollars. Every processor passes through hundreds of manufacturing steps. A single microscopic defect at almost any stage can prevent the chip from working correctly. Producing the world's most advanced chips also depends on some of the most sophisticated manufacturing machines ever created, capable of working at astonishing levels of precision. These systems allow engineers to create structures so incredibly small that thousands could fit across the width of a single human hair. The real competition is not simply making advanced chips once. It is producing millions of them with consistently high quality and reliability. Years of continuous investment allowed TSMC to refine its manufacturing expertise generation after generation, creating an advantage that became increasingly difficult for rivals to match.
By the time the world admired faster smartphones and smarter artificial intelligence, the real engines. By now, many of the world's biggest technology companies shared something remarkable. Although they competed fiercely in public,
the products looked completely different, yet many of their most advanced processors were born inside the same fabrication facilities, built with identical manufacturing discipline.
As artificial intelligence accelerated, demand for advanced semiconductors reached levels few people had ever imagined, placing unprecedented importance on reliable manufacturing. Every new generation of AI required processors that were faster, more efficient, and increasingly difficult to manufacture at scale. Artificial intelligence was no longer transforming only the technology sector. It was beginning to influence healthcare, transportation, scientific research, and industrial automation at the same time.
Securing future chip production became one of the most important strategic decisions facing technology companies planning for the next decade. Each successful manufacturing improvement allowed customers to build products that were smaller, faster, and more energy efficient than the generation before. The influence of one manufacturer quietly extended far beyond semiconductors, reaching almost every modern industry that depended on advanced computing.
Most people never think about semiconductor manufacturing. Yet millions of everyday experiences begin inside factories they will probably never visit.
The world often celebrates the companies creating revolutionary products. But behind nearly every one of those
in South Leon. No company leads forever without attracting competition. As TSMC's influence expanded, governments and technology companies invested hundreds of billions of dollars into expanding semiconductor manufacturing, hoping to reduce dependence on a single region.
Building a modern fabrication plant is one challenge. Achieving world-class manufacturing quality year after year is something entirely different.
Competition continues growing, but semiconductor manufacturing rewards patience, experience, and continuous improvement more than rapid expansion alone. Lights. Each new manufacturing generation becomes exponentially more difficult, requiring greater precision, more advanced equipment.
Customers rarely choose a manufacturing partner based only on today's technology. They choose the company they believe will still lead many years into the future.
To remain ahead, TSMC continues investing extraordinary amounts into research, manufacturing capacity, and the young female.
As computing becomes more powerful, the expectations placed on semiconductor manufacturers continue rising alongside it. The greatest challenge is no longer building one extraordinary chip. It is repeating that achievement millions of times with extraordinary consistency. The race to build the future has already begun. But after decades of relentless engineering, for decades, semiconductor manufacturing remained invisible to most of the world. Today, it has quietly become one of the foundations of the global economy. Artificial intelligence is only one chapter of this transformation. The same semiconductor technology now supports health. Each new generation of chips delivers more than faster performance. It expands what engineers, researchers, and entrepreneurs believe is possible. The technologies shaping the next decade will all demand more computing power than the systems we use today, placing even greater burdens. The world is investing heavily in new fabrication plants. But building facilities is only the beginning. Behind every breakthrough product are thousands of engineering decisions that most people will never notice, yet each one contributes to the technology we rely on every day.
The influence of semiconductor manufacturing now reaches far beyond electronics. It quietly supports industries that define modern civilization itself.
Progress in computing has never belonged to one inventor or one company alone. It has always been the result of thousands of people solving impossible problems together. The next generation may never think about semiconductor factories. They will simply inherit a world made possible by them. Long before the future reaches our hands, it first passes through places like these. Quiet factories, where every morning, these factories quietly begin producing the tiny processors that will eventually power products used by billions of people around the world. Each processor represents years of scientific research, engineering precision, and manufacturing expertise compressed into a piece of silicon smaller than your hand.
Different industries may appear unrelated, but many now share the same invisible foundation.
Artificial intelligence may dominate today's headlines, yet its progress still depends on something remarkably physical: factories capable of manufacturing.
The semiconductor industry never truly stands still. Every generation of technology immediately begins preparing for the one that follows.
The companies leading tomorrow will not simply build better products. They will master even more difficult manufacturing challenges long before customers ever notice the difference. Behind every technological leap are thousands of engineers solving problems that most of the world will never even know existed.
The processor itself is only the beginning. Its true value lies in everything humanity builds with it afterwards.
Modern civilization increasingly depends on invisible technologies working together across continents, creating a level of global cooperation rarely seen in human history. TSMC did not become important because people recognized its name.
History often celebrates inventors and famous brands, Yet behind many of history's greatest technological achievements stand companies whose names rarely reach the headlines. A single manufacturing breakthrough can quietly influence dozens of industries, touching billions of lives without most people ever realizing where it began. Each generation of semiconductor manufacturing creates possibilities that engineers could only dream about a decade earlier, proving that progress often begins at a microscopic scale. As artificial intelligence continues evolving, the importance of advanced manufacturing will likely grow alongside it, making semiconductor experts. Innovation has never belonged to one company alone. Every breakthrough inspires another, creating a chain. The engineers shaping tomorrow's processors are learning lessons built upon decades of quiet persistence, experimentation, and continuous improvement. Modern semiconductor manufacturing succeeds because thousands of specialists solve impossible problems together, each contributing a. Every finished processor represents far more than silicon. It represents years of knowledge transformed into something capable of changing the world. Very few companies quietly become essential to the modern world. TSMC achieved that position not through marketing.
The company hidden behind many of the world's greatest technologies never needed to become famous. Its work became engines.
By now, TSMC had become something almost unprecedented. It wasn't the company selling the world's processors. Every breakthrough still began with imagination. But before any idea could reach millions of people, Stetson. Creating an advanced processor is no longer simply about making something smaller. Every generation demands growth. By the time these technologies reached our hands, years of invisible engineering had already taken place behind factory walls most people would never see. The world's digital economy was no longer supported by software alone. Beneath every breakthrough stood an increasingly sophisticated. Factories like these represent decades of accumulated knowledge. Every improvement became the foundation for the next one, creating an advantage that could not change. Technology moves quickly. Manufacturing expertise still not. Much of what happens inside these facilities is the result.
Most people will never visit a semiconductor fabrication plant. Yet almost everyone now depends on the work taking place inside one.
Over nearly 4 decades, TSMC evolved from an ambitious manufacturing experiment into one of the most trusted companies.
But every extraordinary achievement raises another question. If TSMC manufactures the world's most advanced chips, who builds the extraordinary? Even after decades of innovation, one truth remains unchanged. No processor becomes reality through design alone. Every breakthrough must first survive an astonishing manufacturing journey. Those microscopic patterns are so incredibly small that traditional manufacturing methods simply cannot produce them.
Deep inside these factories stands a machine so advanced that building it requires technologies from hundreds of specialized companies working together. Every component must perform almost perfectly. Even the smallest error could prevent billions of transistors from ever being manufactured.
This remarkable process pushes engineering, optics and physics to limits that once seemed impossible, transforming beams of light into the foundation of modern computing.
Whether the processor powers a smartphone, an AI supercomputer, or a spacecraft, many of the world's most advanced fabrication. Surprisingly, the story of these incredible machines does not begin in Silicon Valley. And it does not begin in Taiwan.
For decades, another team of engineers pursued a challenge many experts believed would never become practical. Their success quietly changed the entire semiconductor industry.
Without this machine, the world's most advanced processors would remain nothing more than remarkable engineering drawings.
And its story may be even more extraordinary than the story of TSMC itself.
The world's most advanced chip factories share one extraordinary dependency. However advanced they become, they all
producing circuits measured in billionths of a meter demands engineering so precise that even light itself must be carefully controlled. The machine contains hundreds of thousands of individual parts, each manufactured to extraordinary tolerances before they can work together as one system. Only a limited number of these extraordinary systems can be built each year, yet every advanced semiconductor manufacturer hopes to secure one. Decades of research in optics, material science, and precision engineering finally converged into a machine many experts once believed could never exist.
Without this extraordinary engineering achievement, the processors powering today's AI revolution would be dramatically more difficult to manufacture. The company almost nobody recognizes, yet the company helping make the world's most advanced chips possible. We've explored the company that manufactures the world's most advanced chips. Next, we'll uncover the extraordinary machine.